All right, let's go ahead and begin this Friday by recording this at the corner of Drake and Weston. A great day, sun is shining. We're ready to go. All right, so today, if we look on today's weekly agenda, you would see that I have a study guide up for you guys. Your test is next Thursday because that's the end of the 9 weeks. So we do have a test coming up. If you go on and click on that, you can get to the quiz that I'm pretty sure I talked about that yesterday. So just kind of study that. Make sure you guys are aware of that. The test, one of the parts of the test is econ. Well, we just did the simulation. I told you guys yesterday I'll work on the simulation, so let's finish up the simulation. This kind of simulation we did in class is going to be part of your test coming up. All right, you're going to have to know the difference between the traditional market and command economies. So hopefully you're able to answer that one, what we talked about yesterday. So let's go through the last part. Okay, what are some advantages and disadvantages of each of these economic systems? Based off of what we saw yesterday when the kids, I gave them Play-Doh and I told them to go, they had to do certain things traditional. The two oldest students were the elders and they could only make jewelry and clothing. So what we saw from most of them is that the advantage was they had some leadership. The elders were there to guide them. So right here for advantage would be having some leadership. You saw that they did actually have some choice, so that's a little bit. So an advantage is freedom, a little bit of freedom. You don't want to put a lot of it because you had choices. You have jewelry or clothing. In that, you can choose different types of jewelry and different types of clothing. So the kids were able to talk and were able to kind of make what they want within that, you know, area. Disadvantage. They couldn't make exactly what they wanted. I had some kid wanting to make a Rolex watch. That is not part of the traditional ways of doing it. So you can't make advanced stuff. You can't make wealthy stuff. So that's a disadvantage. Is you get a little bit of freedom. You don't get a lot. You can't really make what you really want to make. So you kind of have to stick to what the old ways are doing it. Another disadvantage to the economic system is you're never going to become wealthy out of this one. This one's pretty much stuck in stone. The kid who wanted to make the Rolex is like, but I see other people making, better things, better goods. I want to do that. Well, you can't. All right. In traditional, it's always the old way. In a market economy, what we saw is that most people kind of fought over the resources I gave them. I gave them Play-Doh, and I told them they have to make something that everyone wants, and that's something really expensive. Well, that's all the rules I gave them, so the kids kind of didn't know what to do. So they were just kind of fighting over the resources, and that's kind of a disadvantage. There's no one there to guide them. In traditional, you had the elders to help guide you into what we're doing and how we're doing it. This one, you don't. You're just kind of left on your own. And so if you don't have a drive, it could be very bad for you. So some kids actually didn't do anything because they didn't know what to do. They're like, I'm lost. I don't know what to do. They asked me questions, but I wasn't going to help them because it's part of the simulation. I want to help them, but part of the simulation is them trying to figure out how to do the market. And so a couple kids in some groups just kind of sat there where other groups kids did really well. One group they realized it and they all split up the Play-Doh and everyone kind of did their own thing. Another group where all of them got together and tried to make one thing as a group. So you have different choices there, which brings me to the advantage is that you have freedom to kind of do what you want. One group yesterday, one kid's like, I don't want to be part of the group, so he took his resources and went somewhere else and kind of did his own thing, and that's great because he made the choice and he had the freedom to do it. He didn't have anyone tell him no. He didn't have anyone, stopping him. He was able to do what he wanted to do, and so that's what advantage of market is. You have freedom, you have choice. You're able to do kind of what you want to do. In the command, this is a fun one because depending on the leadership. So in a command, they were given rules that said two people are part of the government. They are the only ones allowed to talk, and they're the ones telling everyone what to do. Everyone else is a factory member, and they just have to listen and keep working. And eventually, what happens is the people with the power abuse it, and they start kind of smashing the Play-Doh if their goods aren't good enough. So disadvantage, if you're the part of the factory worker, you have no freedom. All right, unless you're part of the government, you really have no choice. You have to sit there and quiet. You have to sit there and listen to the government, even though you think they're wrong, or even if you have a better idea, you can't tell them anything. You're just stuck. So in a command economy, the disadvantage is you have no freedom. You're not going to be able to do what you want. You're not going to be able to make what you want. What is an advantage of it is they were able to produce 40 to 50 things. Okay, most people were able to produce one or two things, traditional maybe up to 10, but in a command, because they just sat there and listened and just kept making things, I had one person make up to 40 different items or 40 goods by the end of the 15 minutes. They had a whole bunch of food, they had clothing, so they were able to produce a ton of goods really quickly when they wanted to. The only problem is you can't talk and you have to listen to the government. Now, one group they were making bananas. I think one group had pants. One group had T-shirts. One group had pancakes or something like that. So it depends. If you don't want that stuff, well, you have to listen to it. So advantage is that they have leadership, but it could be bad leadership depending on that. But another advantage is that you're going to be able to make things really quickly. So think of it as too much leadership, not enough leadership, and just about right amount of leadership. All right, so once you get that done, go ahead and turn it in. I know it was due yesterday, but it's still a window is open until 3 o'clock. Today, the kids are working on the type of government go. If you look at this, there are questions you need to answer. I have notes up there for you guys. I'll show you where those are. So you have questions about each of these governments. I will tell you the notes don't have every single answer, so get what you can done and then let me know what you're missing and I'll help fill it in, because normally I have a conversation with the students and we kind of go through the rest of the questions. So get what you can done and then let me know. Either hit me up on Teams or hit me up on email, or hopefully you get back and then we can go over some of the rest of them, because I like to answer some of them. So like Director Moxley, I think has all of them, but like representative, you're missing like one. So you'll get some of them where you have all of them, and another one you'll miss like one or two, and that's generally where me having a conversation with the students in class to help make sure we fully understand it. So just look at these here on my notes and try to answer the questions. To find my notes, up in my homepage, I have my notes here where it says notes. Okay, so my notes, here they are, the government notes. So if you click on here, first slide is all about kind of like how the government works. Okay, what's the point of a government? And then you see here, tribal rule gives you, Director actually gives you information, representative gives you information. So you can go through them and then try to answer the best you can. Like I said, some of them have every answer, some of them do not. So you're going to have to kind of wait either when you come back, or hit me up on Teams or email, and I will let you know how to finish the rest of them up. All right. Well, we did not get done with that today, so we're going to finish up on Monday. So today, what I want you to do, make sure you get bell work turned into me. Okay, bell work week 7 is due today. Make sure you study for your test coming up. You can start the notes, but then big one is make sure you get the economic simulation turned into me. As if you have any questions, please let me know. Hit me up on Teams, give me an email, let me know what's going on. If there's an issue, maybe we can help solve it. I know we've had some issues before, so just let me know so we can help you guys out. All right, see you.